Hi, good morning. This is Kellen with All Things Nerd. I just wanted to talk a little bit about how I learned to program and why. So, my background is optics engineering. I'm a big nerd that way. I learned functional programming in MATLAB, had like a semester or so, and really enjoyed it. It's great. For data analysis and all that, that's about all we learned. So, it was a skill that I didn't really develop much. But as I got into different jobs, I realized how repetitive and like time consuming so many aspects of like everyday work just in general are, right? Like, and working in Excel is like generally where most companies go to. And then from there, it's like, what can you do with that? It takes so much time. It's got, you've got to go through all your pivot tables and, just to get your data out. And so, my last job, we were working with MATLAB and another program that didn't really have a programming interface. We could do a little bit with MATLAB and interact with it, and so that was cool. We could automate some things, but there was still so much that was being done manually, and so it kind of drove me crazy. And even the job that I had before that, I remember somebody that I worked with was super efficient and like really genius, and they were so diligent, and they would just go through this process, and I learned from them like what they were doing. And they were teaching me and teaching me a lot of stuff, and I just remember like seeing how diligent they were and think to myself, wow, I'm way too lazy for that. And so what I learned to do and tried to add value was like, okay, you know what I can do? I can go learn, because I know that like I just in seeing the little bit of programming we'd done, I knew that there were ways to like speed up different processes. So I went and I was like, okay, let me see, can I learn to automate some of these tasks, and then other tasks. And so I did. I was able to turn the workflow that we did together into a much faster, more efficient workflow. And then when I went to another job, we had a very similar workflow, and I took what I'd learned and reprogrammed another program to automate and like make things go faster. And so, I mean, essentially what I'm saying is like over the course of working at this job, learning more and more, I took what was probably a 2 week job and boiled it down to maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours if it was really long, just by automating all the intermediate, really slow, useless tasks, or not useless, but like they're tasks that a machine could do, and therefore like I looked at them as useless tasks, because if I'm spending my time and energy doing the thing, right, like that is a waste of my time and energy, because I could literally have a calculator do it or a program do it. And that's how I look at things, and that's why that was the motivation for me to learn to program. Is I'd be going through and button clicking, and the reason is because I was working on these programs, and they were super useful for optics, super useful for like the mechanical engineering portion of stuff that we were doing, but they were so old. They didn't have any capability for you to like automate them in turn. So what I had to do is I got this awesome book, by the way. I got Automate the Boring Stuff in Python, and what this book teaches you to do is it teaches programming to super noob, and it teaches you how to automate a GUI system, right? Your general user interface. It's probably not what it stands for, but it's the user interface on your computer, right? So like it controlled the mouse clicks, it controlled the keyboard, so it would do exactly what I would do, and it would look like a human was doing it, because these programs didn't have the ability to like network with them internally or more efficiently. So I would literally have it click the way that I'd click and drag the mouse the way that I'd drag it and all that. And so yeah, but that's the power of it, right? Is by learning to program, I literally made like replicated myself so many times that a week's worth of work could be done, or sorry, 2 weeks worth of work could be done in an hour. And so that's the power of programming. That and when I finished that project, went on and was like, you know what, I've got to learn to program more, just because there's more and more that I can do here. And I love it, and it's addicting. It's fun to do the little, bit by bit, and get your small pieces of code working, and trying to figure out what's going on. And it's like working with a puzzle. So anyway, love programming. Wanted to talk a little bit about how I got into it, because generally, yeah, it's always a question. I was talking to somebody last night, was a lawyer, and is now they now program for a living, and it's like you can go at it from any angle. Like where did you start from that you started programming? These guys have a super profitable company, and never had a degree in programming, never had a degree in computer science. And so I guess what I wanted to say is, like, you can go out and you can start learning to program for free, right? You can go on YouTube, you can check out different people coding live and ask them questions, and get mentorship that way. And it's something anybody can do. It's super valuable. And I think it's a skill that augments everything that you do. So no matter what job you have now, you can be more efficient and more effective at it if you learn to program. And so that's what I love about it. That's it for today. How did you learn to program? If you do, if not, go check out Automate the Boring Stuff. Another great place is W3 Schools, and it depends on what you want to do, right? I wanted to learn to program because I wanted to learn to make my work more efficient. Now I'm doing web design and just exploring it because I love that stuff, making mobile apps, and it's fun, right? I'm getting ready to do some to make some, like, a nutrition app. I'm getting ready to do another app for that my wife and I have a program going on. So yeah, it's such a powerful tool, a lot of fun. Let me know about your experiences. Anyway, have a great one.